You know, to me, accountability is so important. I mean, if you've been listening to my show for more than a year now, I started August 8th of last year. I believe that I'm very fair. When I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong. You know, let me walk you through. At first, when this whole thing started, and I'm looking at all these candidates running for president, of course, the big Obama mistake was for me to support Ben Carson because he was black. And especially as a black conservative, somebody like him that's going to come out in the open and things like that, you know, that's something that's admirable. But I didn't support Ben Carson. I vetted Ben Carson. I looked through Ben Carson, and I was trying to find myself in this political arena because, you know, I'm more of a minister and, you know, and a songwriter. The music you guys hear in my songs, in my show, that's my music I produce under my company Life Music. And I'm an inspirational guy from that standpoint. But I also mentor at-risk teens, and a lot of them are African-American. And I'm watching the state of our African-American teens. Matter of fact, and really, this transcends color. I'm looking at our liberal-raised teens. I'm looking at them. And I'm saying, as a whole, our country is functioning massively uninspired. I believe Barack Obama, the liberals, they blew a big chance to inspire downtrodden communities by sharing the inspiration that a black president could bring. No longer do you have to be a thug and think you could just be a rapper. You could be the president of the United States. And the Democrats had no interest in getting that message out. Instead, Barack Obama got the message out that white people are out to get you and the white police are corrupted and the justice system is just trying to screw you over. That's what they ran with. My Brother's Keeper initiative didn't go to the gangbangers and say, hey, guys, drop your colors and this and that. No, it went to the blacks and said the police are out to screw you. His wife got an opportunity to speak at a historical black university, and she said that you got to walk around the stores being watched. You have a college degree now. See, none of this stuff is being shared with her children and them, but this is what's being shared to our children. So I looked at Ben Carson, and I supported Ben Carson because of inspiration. Did I handle it emotionally? Possibly. I don't know. But I took the inspiration thing. And so on my radio show, I was pushing Ben Carson while everybody was saying he's not qualified to be president. My response to them was this: Ben Carson will be the president or not be the president on his own. But you shouldn't be against Ben Carson being the president for the reasons that you're saying. He's unemotional. He's this. He's too calm. He's too this. He's a freaking neurosurgeon. Do you expect your neurosurgeon that's about to go into your child's brain, the person that you brought your child to return them back to you better than you gave them to him? Do you expect him to run around screaming like an idiot when this is what he does? No, you expect him to be measured, calm, thorough, and things of this nature. If he was good enough for you to give your child to, you shouldn't be against him being the president or give this country to him based on his demeanor. You shouldn't be against it. But now he'll sink or swim. And anybody that knows me, they know I was honest like this. You shouldn't be against Ben Carson being the president. That's how I was, because I felt that we're missing a tremendous opportunity when I'm watching our black children being coached into by this black president to run up in white people's face and call them hunkies and going off on them while they're eating dinner or they're in the library talking about you are racist and you this and screaming. I didn't see it, but Emmett Till got killed by white people for giving a compliment to a white woman. I'm saying it's not going to end well with our black children being coached into running up on white people talking about kill whitey and kill cops. I felt that our community needs some inspiration, and Barack Obama blew it. The Democrats blew it. But why would I expect them not to? That's exactly what they do. Divide us on race. They had their anarchist love child in the incubator and they sent them out to practice. This is what's been happening. We call them Black Lives Matter. They've been practicing this ridiculousness. And I thought Ben Carson's story, turning off the TV, getting books, would have been that thing that could have inspired the black community where the liberals failed. But no, he couldn't be the president because he speaks too calm. And then this very same Donald Trump says he can't be supported because he's a pedophile. You can't believe in his walk with Jesus. He found him in a bathroom. And this is supposed to be somebody on our side. This is what he did to Ben Carson. So you could just imagine how devastated I was when Ben Carson came out and endorsed this dude. But so he showed me that you're more political than you are an outsider. Guess what? Like I said, as a president, you'll sink or swim on your own. I can no longer support you. But then I came to the conclusion of this. We still need inspiration. So I briefly supported Marco Rubio because I thought he was speaking a little bit more inspired. And I let my listeners know that. Inspiration was the prism I was looking at things through because of what I do for a living and feeling our young people can be inspired just like they're being coached and inspired into being into gangs and drugs and crime by a little dookie stain that they're listening to in their headphones. Liberal free speech. But then in my brief stint supporting Marco Rubio in his inspiration, because his story is very inspirational. Not to say Ted Cruz's wasn't, or Carly Fiorina's wasn't, or anything. I'm just being honest with you. And I'm also showing with you how I hold myself accountable. So for me to ask for accountability shouldn't be something foreign. But then, as I was looking at how this thing was going, I'm noticing that our Constitution, now, see, because I was on the inspirational thing, our Constitution has always been under threat. But I wasn't looking at it from that perspective. But then when I seen the Constitution, and I feel the Holy Spirit showed me what our founding escaped slaves, what really kept us free and things like this, that was going, oh, man, no, we have to get somebody that's going to protect the Constitution. I'll be inspiring. I'll let somebody else protect the Constitution. That's when I got behind Ted Cruz. Not because he was perfect for me. When I was supporting Ben Carson, him and Ted Cruz bumped heads. But I'm looking at the constitutional focus that he had. So I was able to let that go. Some of Ted Cruz supporters, they embraced me. But someone was like, I thought you was a Carson supporter. Because some Ted Cruz supporters acted just as ignorant as Trump supporters. But it's okay, because they're still Americans. So I started supporting the Constitution, and when I started supporting Ted Cruz, I felt that I got my footing. I started to understand myself as a person on this radio, as a person with listeners and people that follow me and listen to me. I started to find my true purpose of being on this radio. I can be inspiring, but I want to inspire people to freedom, because freedom is retrospective color. But you got to go through the liberals' blockades and stumbling blocks of color to get to true freedom. And Ted Cruz represented that, because that true freedom is found in our documents, the sacrifices of our founding escaped slaves. And I felt I found my footing. So I started pushing Ted Cruz. But then through all of this, I was never more proud of a person. Ted Cruz went to the convention, stood up to this bully, Donald Trump, and stood up for the American people. So you can just imagine how dismayed I was when he turned around and endorsed this dude, after he stood on principle longer than any other candidate in the race. This is being honest. See, I'm not trying to have lack of transparency as a political advantage. And I'm not trying to play on the stupidity of the American voter. I'm being honest. I'm telling you what I support, why I supported it, and why I got off. It's whenever somebody sells out, I have a problem with that. No one likes to be sold out. And I don't want to be a person that's selling anybody out. Unlike all the other media talk show type on both sides. Because they're cheerleaders. I'm trying to be a cheerleader for the United States of America, the Constitution that our founding escaped slaves said will keep us free, our Bill of Rights that our founding escaped slaves put in place so that nobody else can enslave us, and our rule of law to give the consequences and repercussions for anybody that violates either one of those two things. That's what's going to keep us free. The one thing that was put in place that gave the motivation to our founding escaped slaves to create this country that we have and the documents that I just mentioned, their motivation came from haterism, and that's called liberalism. Liberalism is totally against any of those things to keep us free, help us from enslaving and bullying in somebody else's freedom, and making sure we have consequences and repercussions if you get off that trail. Liberalism is our arch enemy. If we're Superman, liberalism is Lex Luthor. Liberalism is our enemy. It's not a human being. It's not a personality. It's a principle. It's spiritual wickedness in high places. That's what liberalism is. So when you run and say the lesser of two evils, I have Jesus Christ. I'll never accept an evil. I'll make evil is what it is. Not a little white lie, a big black lie, or whatever. A lie is a lie. And if a person is willing to tell a lie and defend their lie, they're willing to take away your freedom and not defend your right to have it. So it's not a lesser of two evil things. I have Jesus. I don't need an evil, period. And based on the standards that sell out Christians, because I hate being sold out, sell out Republicans, sell out conservatives, sell out Facebook friends, sell out Twitter followers. I hate a sellout. I don't want to be a sellout, and I don't like a sellout. But I respect your ability to sell out because you're an American. You're on our soil. So you have the right to do that. And I have the right to call you out on it. It's called accountability. Are you willing to hold Donald Trump accountable? I am. You throw out these little loaded terms. Phil, you must be a liberal because you think it's going to make me fold and quit doing what I'm doing. I know I'm not a liberal. And you know I'm not. If anything, you're throwing out, just like Donald Trump threw out the rigged system because he knew the system was rigged to throw you off. You throw out liberal because you think it's going to shut me up. It's not. Because only a liberal would think that. So you must be the liberal. And for those support, remember how Barack Obama had the black community because they voted for him just because he's black? Trust me, people, be real and be honest with yourself. There are people that's voting for Donald Trump just because he's white. They're voting for Donald Trump because he's not black. And there is a big segment of this country that's voting for Donald Trump because he's willing to say and stand behind bigoted statements like they wish they could. People, you have to understand something. We're fighting liberalism in this country. And when it comes to our faith, we're fighting evil. And evil is wicked. It's wily. Evil is like a serpent. So as a Christian, we have to fight evil, not accept it, not coddle it, play with it, explain it away, make it something that it's not, or put it on a scale to where it's lesser or greater. It is evil. And as Americans, we should fight liberalism in all of its forms. Don't play with it. Don't feed it. Don't trust it. Don't think that it can be your friend. Don't think it's going to protect your borders. Don't think it's going to protect your rights. Don't think it's going to protect your family. Don't think that it's going to school your children properly. Liberalism will destroy this country. And we just elected a lifelong liberal that has a piece of paper that says he's a Republican with no conservative credentials, no constitutional backing or proof that he backs it. There's more proof that he backed Hillary Clinton than all you people that's saying he's the best pick for president and trying to convince me you're a conservative. He supports Obamacare. Matter of fact, if he doesn't support Obamacare, it's just like the other liberals. It didn't go far enough. because he supports single payer. There's proof of that. Hillary didn't bring it up, Obama didn't bring it up, and the liberal media didn't bring it up because they rigged the system, because the liberals had nothing to lose. They had the liberal that was the behind-the-scenes supporter of a liberal and the liberal that's been out front. The one that's been out front you call the biggest evil because you've seen her out front, but you're not willing to be brutally honest and know that he's the one in the smoke-filled room backing her, making sure that she goes to Washington to do what he says, while he's trying to tell you that that was just George Soros. They're all in the same bed. And until you start adding, stop trusting, we're going to continue to keep losing. And so you can keep listening to your little cheerleaders if you want. Do you think Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, any of these cheerleaders are going to tell you the honest to God truth when this president goes off the rocker? What do you think the difference between them and all the people at CNN is when Barack Obama was going off the rocker? They backed him up and told the American people that what Barack Obama was doing was okay. You just don't know. You're a hater. You're a racist. And now you cheerleaders are willing to do the same thing for this president when it's about we the people. And all I'm saying is we better wake up and be willing, give him a chance, but be willing to hold him accountable for what we know he is, not for what we wish he would be. We know he's a liberal. But he is the president of the United States. That's why you haven't heard me call him one name. I'll respect the office, and I'll respect the fact that he won. As far as his fair and square thing, man, that's your dumb fault to believe that. He had help. Nobody has been helped to the presidency more than Donald Trump. And it's only a cheerleader that's going to help us to a grave. I'm Phil Williams.